Welcome to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
You've definitely heard about this. It's everywhere. Now, of course, I'm talking about the Boogosphere.
Then we took it to the university in Mexico, and they found the most important thing is that there are many holes. All these holes have fiber optics, all kinds of sizes. Some of them as thin like a hair, some of them thicker. And we now know they are used to see everything around us. This is a big sensor. They can see everything. They can see through ultraviolet, probably infrared. They can see inside you. They can see your cells. They can see everything. And besides that, they have all these copper dots. We think that this is the antenna. And they are able to broadcast from the fiber optics to the antenna and from there to somewhere else. There is also these moons here. The inside of these moons is a different kind of aluminum than here. It's a different alloy. We don't know why. Also, we found that this looks like a chip. They couldn't find what it's made of. Probably is an alloy that is unknown.
So they've essentially figured out that this is some sort of surveillance drone then. Well, that just sounds like confirmation of what most of us have already been thinking. I just wonder if this is something that we built, something China built, or something that belongs to the underground aliens that are trying to spy on us folks above ground. I know I would put my money on this being U.S. intelligence. Now that we know these exist, though, and what it's likely being used for, it sure makes the idea of them going total lockdown on us sound much more plausible. You're going to have a much more difficult time moving about undetected whenever they got 1 million of these drones flying around overhead reporting back on every inch of movement they detect.
Did y'all see what happened to Japan? All right, y'all, stick with me. And this proves that, we have some new water coming in, y'all, because this is what happened in Japan. At about 11 p.m. last night, the sirens started going off, the flood sirens, y'all. Look at the sky. This is 11 p.m. and the sky was flashing like crazy. And it's been doing it here as well, too, y'all. You hear the sirens? Now, I have been saying that this water has been excessive, and there's no way that rain coming down from the sky is the culprit of these floods, right? Now, you can clearly see in these videos that this water is coming up from under the ground, y'all. Look at what's going on under here, y'all. And remember, Japan is due for a huge earthquake or tsunami type stuff that's going to happen pretty soon. This is prophecy. The roof and the train stations were literally collapsing. Now, do you guys notice something? So look at the water that's being found in Japan, y'all. This water is crystal clear. It's crystal clear, y'all. Look at this. So remember, they said the poles have reversed, and now we have warm water coming from under the ground, and it's merging with the salt water, and it's removing the salt water. And look at this, y'all. Look at this. This water is not murky. It's not dirty. I don't know what he's doing. Someone needs to tell him that's not working. But it's not dirty, y'all. Look. You can see it clearer in this video. That almost looks like drinking water. So is this the Antarctic water that's coming up to Japan right now, y'all? So, y'all, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of this, y'all. The floor beneath us is cracking. The matrix is literally breaking down.
Apparently, Japan uses an underground tunnel system to manage floodwaters in their big cities. However, it does not appear to be doing the trick in this video. It kind of looks like maybe this underground water management system is just overwhelmed with the amount of water that it's taking in, and it just can't perform its job. I thought this was interesting though, because I've never seen a place flood from underground. Now, I don't really know if this is proof of anything, because I couldn't find any information even confirming that this is taking place, much less explaining what's actually happening. If ever there was a flood though that looked suspiciously like it was intentional, this is it. It looks like they're using that underground water management system to intentionally flood the city, which may be that water management system's originally intended purpose. Just consider how the governments of the world seem to always be on the lookout for new ways to ruin the lives of their citizens. Hey, Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at berry-stepp.com.
Breaking news, a major current in the Southern Ocean has just reversed directions for the first time in written history. Scientists say that this is going to affect the way the ice melts in Antarctica. It's going to affect our weather system, and it's also going to affect the way our Earth can store carbon. But what if that is just the surface level? Normally, underneath science, there's also a deeper truth. Our mother, our Earth, is the embodiment of the divine feminine. She is the womb that holds the oceans. She is the body that bears the heat. And her heartbeat is what we rise and fall on. And for centuries, she's held the weight of the world unbalanced. She's absorbed the pressure, the pollution, the suppression. But here's what's happening now. She's not just melting, she is reclaiming. Since 2015, the water around Antarctica has been getting saltier. Salt adds weight to water. When that water is saltier, it's heavier, and it's going to push that down and pull up the warmer water from underneath. That heat that is rising, that's causing the ancient ice to melt. It's not a destruction, it's a return. Earth is aligning with us, and the old systems that would silence her and us are crumbling. We are not breaking down, we are breaking free. So if you have felt the shift in your body, in your womb, in your waters, no, you are not alone. You are syncing with Mother, and Mother is syncing with you.
I could not disagree more with her New Age feminism analysis of this, but I wanted to address this because I'm noticing a pattern in how this is being reported on. Now, I'm not saying that I know for a fact this isn't happening. It very well could be. The world is a crazy place, and I don't claim to know the ins and outs of all of God's creation. And it would certainly make sense considering all of the crazy weather that we've been getting that's destroying city after city over the past few months. Although, I believe most of those are man-made disasters. But I can't help but to notice that this is being pushed as the next elevation in the climate change narrative. I think they're starting to lose control of this climate change lie that they've been pushing, and so they're throwing a Hail Mary in the final quarter. Make it seem like something crazy is happening that could only be explained as the Earth fighting back against human pollution. Then they can push all this carbon tax nonsense on us and put more of our money in their pocket. I see nothing here but red flags. What do y'all think about this?
Right now, this is happening in a lot of countries around the world, but it's planned to happen in all countries around the world. Check this out.
The UK recently completed a carbon credit system trial that sets a daily allowance for each person, a literal cap on your ability to travel, purchase food, clothing, and even heat your home, all rationed under the guise of saving the planet. Your daily carbon limit is capped at 40 kilograms of CO2, with food restricted to just 4 kilograms. So how does this translate to actual food? Well, according to the report, a packet of cheese accounts for 1.1 kilograms of CO2, over 25% of your daily allowance. Red meat? Forget it. If you spent your entire 4 kg allowance on steak, you'd get around 8 ounces of meat. While meat and dairy products have the highest carbon footprints, 2 slices of bread would account for just 3%, while a can of Coke just 4%. So basically, diabetes is on the menu. But don't worry, Big Pharma will have you covered, because medications and healthcare products will not be factored into your daily carbon limit. But here's where things get terrifying. They're not just suggesting it, they're testing it. Food manufacturers are already slapping carbon labels on their products. And let's not forget the food supply chain either. These policies directly threaten local farmers and producers, as red meat gets penalized heavily, while synthetic lab-grown meat is being propped up as a solution.
Now, the problem is, if people knew the truth about where all these agendas are going, they would vehemently resist it. But you can barely talk about it on social media without getting the video, etc., flagged or censored in some way.
This is exactly what I mean. They're going to push this new climate change narrative and then tell us that extreme measures need to be taken in order to keep humanity from going extinct. And it's all just lies. It's always lies. Does anyone think that our politicians and our celebrities are going to have to worry about how much red meat they're eating in a day? Of course not. I tell you one thing though, if I see a product on the shelf that has a carbon footprint rating on the side of it, that's just going to tell me that that particular company is in bed with the government and their attempt at control, and their product can't be trusted. If they're willing to lie to us to help the government keep us under control, what's to keep us from automatically assuming that they're lying to us about what's in the actual food itself? New Zealand is starting to get scary.
If gravity is real on a giant spinning globe, where are the upside down people? Like seriously, why can't we just zoom out and see folks walking on the bottom of the ball? Shouldn't someone, somewhere, be walking with their head pointing to the sky? Now think about it. We've got satellites, space stations, telescopes, and 4K cameras floating in orbit. But not one single live video that shows the entire Earth with planes flying in all directions or cities underneath the planet. Where's the global shot of Australia with buildings upside down? Where are the jets flying sideways or upside down below the equator? They say, oh, it's too far to zoom out. Really? We've sent probes past Pluto but can't turn one around to give us a wide shot of Earth, not even once? Come on now. Google Earth can fake it, but NASA can't show it. Maybe the reason we've never seen people walking upside down is because no one is. Maybe everything just looks flat and feels still, because that's exactly what it is. Think about what you see, not what you're told. The horizon, always level, the oceans never curve. Airplanes fly straight for hours without dipping their nose to follow a ball. And if you're thinking GPS proves the globe, let's be real. GPS works off ground-based towers, not magic satellites. Plane routes in the southern hemisphere make zero sense on a ball, but snap into perfect logic on a flat map. And don't even get me started on how water curves around a spinning rock but somehow stays completely still in your glass. So why are we still waiting for proof that never comes? Why can't we just see it?
I thought this was really cool because I was just talking about this in yesterday's video. After talking about that, I got the same comment that I always get whenever something about flat Earth is brought up. Why would it matter? Why would they worry about lying to us about the shape of the planet? What difference would it make? I think it finally clicked in my head, and I actually understand now what people mean when they say that they're just simply trying to hide God from us. Grab a telescope and look out into deep space. The only thing we can see are stars, which appear round, and other planets, which also appear to be round. Now, how would you ever convince someone that there wasn't a designer if they flew up and pointed a camera down and showed us that we're on a huge flat plane that's not moving, just sitting still? Everyone would know that this place was put here by our designer. It would be undeniable. There could be no other explanation. I finally understand what the flat Earth community means when they say that they're doing this to attempt to hide God from us. It finally clicked. It finally makes sense.
I'm the guy who made the Pegasus museum video yesterday. And I'm also the guy that removed the Pegasus museum video yesterday. And my mom would die, my girlfriend would die, my son would die. Right here, we've been working on trying to find the kill room and where it is. And we're 99% sure we know exactly where it is. Hey guys, right here is the actual purchase of the building where the kill room is located, and he's wearing a Comet ping pong sweater, and we believe this is in what is called the kill room. And you're gonna notice the same exact thing, the cinder block on top, the red, the black, and the split. And we're gonna put these side by side and let you look at it for yourself. So guys, there you have it. We found the kill room. This is very exciting right now, but we have a lot more stuff we're going to be looking into. So Castellum Achilles LLC. It was formed by James Alefantis, Northwest. This is actually in Washington, D.C. in the Columbia Heights neighborhood. So guys, this is the work permits to build this kill room. So guys, this is an aerial map of Pegasus. We're going to take a Google Earth view of it. This is another street view. So Pegasus is right around here. It's right behind this row of buildings right here. So it's completely blocked by this entire row of buildings. You cannot see it. But guys, I want to bring your attention to right here. Guys, this is the street view from the alley of the back of Pegasus. This is another street view. So guys, I want y'all to look at this door. When we go to the next one, you can see this door. When we zoom in, kids, and it looks like an arrow is pointing underground. There's no windows on the first floor level. Again, no windows. And it talks about the kill room here, the back view of Pegasus, and then they drew out this this diagram showing you where everything's at based on this photo. So right here they have the door, which is right here. And then the photo is showing these trenches right here. So this building
lines up exactly with what this is. But guys, this is huge. So really dig into this. Give me everything you can find before they delete everything. They've already started deleting certain things.
I had to delete my video or I would die. And my mom would die, my girlfriend would die, my son would die. And then he would sue me, my dead body. So at that point I was pretty scared. And I was like, all right, I'll delete the video.
Wow. I can't believe this guy uncovered this. If you aren't familiar with what he's talking about, I cannot really go into the details of it on YouTube. And if you do know what he's talking about, then you know exactly why I can't share that information. But this is huge. Now, I can't say it doesn't make me just a little bit nervous to put something like this in a video, especially when the guy who posted the original content and found this information to begin with is saying that he got his life threatened over releasing it. Just go search a couple of the keywords that he used in that video and you'll see what the big deal is about this discovery. I think this may actually come to light. They thought they successfully buried this one, but I think this story is far from over.
If you're not aware of what just happened with Grok 4, my friend, you gotta see this. To watch the full video, go to YouTube on this channel to watch the Grok 4 demo.
This is the smartest AI in the world. We're going to show you exactly how and why. And it really is remarkable to see the advancement of artificial intelligence, how quickly it is evolving.
Do you find it suspicious, like I do, that he has said many times that AI is possibly going to be our demise, including unemploying God knows how many people, but yet he's still building this thing out?
I sometimes compare it to the growth of a human and how fast a human learns and gains conscious awareness and understanding. And AI is advancing just vastly faster than any human.
It's kind of crazy that he's making these very subtle comparisons of humans with AI and making AI the more remarkable option.
Grok 4, if given like the SAT, would get perfect SATs every time, even if it's never seen the questions before.
Remember that we're made in the image of God, and now we're making AI in our image.
And if even going beyond that to say graduate student exams like the GRE, it will get near perfect results in every discipline of education. So from the humanities to like languages, math, physics, engineering, pick anything. And we're talking about questions that it's never seen before. These are not on the internet. And Grok 4 is smarter than almost all graduate students in all disciplines simultaneously. It's actually just important to appreciate that's really something.
Listen, we're about to enter into a world that most people are not prepared for, and most people have no idea what's coming their way literally within months. If you've never seen this before, it's important to understand that AI is broken down into 3 subcategories: ANI, artificial narrow intelligence; AGI, artificial general intelligence; and ASI, artificial super intelligence. And right now, we're in this point right here, can behave in a human-like way across all tasks. And this right here is intelligence that's basically fully aware, sentient. But wait till AI is paired with robots and quantum computing. I'm telling you, Revelation 13, image of the beast, I believe this is it. And all the experts are saying that this stage can happen overnight. Some articles are saying in 2047. And other tech experts, they're saying 2027. They're even saying that this potentially, 2025, is the last year of normalcy. What does this all mean? Skynet, the Matrix, a machine world? I do believe in Harpozo, in the rapture, that Jesus is coming back, but I think there's also a good possibility we might see some of this in the transition just before. Don't be in fear, trust God, control the controllables, and just be prepared.
Just think about when they reach artificial superintelligence and install it on all these Boogosphere-style surveillance drones that they've got flying about. Those things will be able to outmaneuver us at every turn. You won't be able to find a place to hide from it. It'll probably be capable of determining all of your potential exit strategies and then blocking them off before you even have time to think and turn to run. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just saying we are reaching the point with technology where pretty soon we're going to be up against something that we just cannot defend ourselves against. And I feel like I'm stating the obvious when I say this has to be their end goal. I am so glad that I know where I'm going when all of this is over. I used to really freak out over this stuff, but we'll have our justice in the end, so no worries.
Now, from the time Ben Franklin discovered electricity by flying his famous kite with a key on it in a thunderstorm until we had electric lights in 1890 was about 100 years. From about 1790 to 1890, about 100 years, we developed electric lights. You know, Ben Franklin wasn't technologically advanced in electricity or electronics. 100 years later, we've got computers in 1990. People before the flood were living to be 900 years old. Now picture a civilization in which people don't die for hundreds of years. You know, when I develop my knowledge, I have to write that down. From age 0 to age 30, I didn't accomplish anything in life. I'd never written a book. I'd never written anything down of any consequence. From age 30 until age 65, I have written, I couldn't count the number of books that I've written. I probably have 50 or 75 books. I wrote a lot of material. I write on legal subjects, and I have a lot of written material here. I teach school. I write most of the material that goes into my textbooks. My entire working career, everything that I have learned, everything that I have written down and preserved for the next generation had to have been done in about 40 working years. Can you imagine what I could accomplish if I could live to be 300 years old? Can you imagine how much I would write, how much I would know, how much I could disseminate to the next generation if I had 300 years to do what I've done over the past 40? It doesn't strike me as being preposterous that people before the flood had developed electricity and electric light bulbs. We did it in the last 200. Adam didn't even have children until he was 130. The guy lives to be, 930 years old. He could have done it by himself. It's been reported that those people before the flood were smarter than we are today. Their IQs were better. I don't know that that's necessarily true, but I wouldn't doubt it. We're digging up now in archaeological digs, we're digging up the evidence that they had electroplating, for crying out loud. That's pretty significant metallurgy. And the Bible reports that they were artificers in brass and iron. Now, people that are artificers in brass and iron are advanced. They're ahead of casting cannon in sand, which is where we were with Columbus in 1500. So from 1500 to 2000, we had made gigantic strides in metallurgy. We were making railroad rails, building iron ships by 1900. There's an electric battery from ancient Babylon in the form of a clay pot with an electrode down through the bottom which holds the acid inside, with an iron rod, copper cylinder, earthenware jar, copper disc, wire out the top with a pitch collar and an unknown electrolyte. That's what they dug out back in the 1880s and then took it back to the British Museum. Didn't know what they had. You dig something out of the ground and you say, well, I don't know what this is. Take a look at human anatomy 100 years ago and say, well, these are vestigial organs. We don't know what a tonsil or an adenoid or an appendix does in the body, so therefore, because of our theory of evolution, we believe that these are vestigial organs. And so when I was a kid, they used to cut people's tonsils and adenoids out. I don't know how I survived it. We used to say, if God had intended, then he would have done. That was her mantra. If God had intended that, he would have done it. Every kid in school had his tonsils and adenoids removed. Now we find out it's a part of your immune system. One doctor reported he had never seen a case of a person who had tonsils and adenoids. It's a part of your immune system, kids.
I think this idea of people living for several hundred years and therefore being able to master certain skills is such an obvious one that most people just don't think about. Of course they would be more intelligent than modern man. That makes perfect sense. And then consider that we are likely a deteriorated version of God's original creation. Everything decays. I'm sure we likely have a much less quality body than the way they were originally designed to be. Otherwise, we would likely still be living for several hundred years. So to think that these people were less intelligent or had more rudimentary technology is just a product of not placing any logic behind your argument. And the reason we don't have any of their old technology being dug up, I think, is just because it was all destroyed. We do see remnants of it, but the vast majority of that stuff would have I'm assuming, be destroyed during the restructuring of our entire landscape from the recession of the floodwaters. And I'm convinced that the land we're on today is not just simply the land before the flood that was restructured from a bunch of water swishing around on top of it. I think we're living on the sediment that settled as the waters pulled back. I don't think it's even the same landscape. So to assume that it would even be likely for us to find 4,000-year-old technology when it's probably all buried at the bottom of the ocean, I just don't think that makes any sense. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back soon with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at berry-stepp.com. And don't forget to drop a photo of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.